Three things that you must do if you're selling a house in a buyer's market. And what is a buyer's market? What is a seller's market? How do you even determine if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market? You're going to learn all of that with this video. So we're going to go in order 3, 2, 1, but I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to miss any of these, especially number one. Number one is a game changer. By the way, I'm Rodney Dixon. I'm your Tulsa Realtor with Coldwell Banker Select. My channel that I created to be a resource for you guys is called 918 Buzz. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you like these kind of videos. How do you know if you're in a buyer's market? What exactly is a buyer's market? What is a seller's market? Well, buyer's market is basically, in a nutshell, when it's more favorable for buyers to go out and buy houses. Seller's market means it's more favorable for sellers. So what makes it more favorable for sellers? Well, if there are fewer homes on the market and there are several buyers on the market, well, we might see multiple offer situations because there's not a lot of homes to choose from. Buyer's market is just the opposite. You have more options. For 4 months, you're entering into a buyer's market. 5, 6 months supply, you're in a buyer's market. And that means if realtors were to stop listing properties today, it would take 5 to 6 months to sell all of those properties. It's just an accurate interpretation to see where we're at. If you are subscribed to my channel and you've seen some of my other tip videos, you hear me say, even if we're in a buyer's market, there are some areas that could still be a seller's market, or vice versa. If we are in a seller's market, there could be some areas that are still a buyer's market, and I'll explain deeper. The areas could be by location. It can also be by price. You have to find a realtor that can pinpoint for your specific location. Is it a hot area? Okay, at the price point, is it a hot area? Now, I know this is a lot of information to preface the top 3 things that you need to do if you're selling in a buyer's market. If you're a seller, all of that right there is going to help you determine what you need to do next with these 3 things I'm going to suggest. Now, there's about 10 other steps that we're not going to cover in this video, but if you would like the list, go to contactrodney.com. and just go to that website. That's my personal website. That only comes to me and say, Rodney, send me the list of your top 10 things to get the property ready. There's a lot of other things that you need to do to have the house ready before you're ready to list. And I'm sure you would agree with that. If you're buying or selling in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, and you would like more information, my contact information is right here. And if it's super late, you can go to contactrodney.com. There's a QR code up here as well. If you scan that using your phone, if you're watching this on a computer or you're watching this on your TV, well, it'll take you to where you can just simply shoot me a message. Hey, Rodney, yeah, we're thinking about selling a house. Can you reach out to us? Or Rodney, we tried selling our house. It expired. We don't know what's going on. Can you help us? I can help you with those things. If you're a buyer and you're looking at buying a house, I'm here for you too. I've got your back when you're buying here as well. What's the top 3 things? All right, we're gonna start with number 3. You have to do professional photography. You have to hire a professional photographer. I've got a great photographer that when she takes photos, oh my gosh, I'm blown away every single time. She can make houses look so good. So you have to hire a professional photographer that truly is a professional photographer. They know that's basically everything that they do. They live and breathe it. That's what you want. You want someone that's going to bring the best out in your property. A couple other things. You also need to do this is still number 3. You also need to do a floor plan drawing. Your realtor may have access to people that they can call that'll come out. They may have an app that will actually do a very legit floor plan drawing of your property, but you need that included with the photos. Another thing that I do personally, and I would recommend if you can find a realtor that does this as well, to do it, and that is do what's called a Matterport interactive 3D tour of your property. It's absolutely incredible. Now, you're not going to find a lot of agents that do that because it is more of a specialty thing, but I do it. I'm a firm believer in it. And what it does is they come in, they actually will do a interactive virtual tour on the property, which means they're taking photos throughout the property and then linking them all together and creating this 3D thing that a buyer would be in control of how they want to walk through the house. So when they first walk into the house, they can look up at the ceiling, they can look at the floor, they can look left or right, move forward, they can come back the other direction. They can walk through the house with this 3D interactive tour, and it is a game changer. Statistics say more buyers gravitate to these kind of listings because it puts the buyer in control of how they want to walk through the property and see the property. So it is a big game changer. So if you can find an agent that will hire the professional photographer that can get the floor plan drawing, that's so important. People love to see that. They really do. And then on top of that, the realtor that will splurge and do the 3D interactive virtual tour, well, that's pretty good right there. Now, another thing that I do is I also do videos of my property. So if you have a video of your property, that is just one other thing. If you are subscribed to my channel, you're going to see several videos that I do of properties. So I do a walkthrough tour of properties, and a lot of them I will describe what I'm seeing. Some of them, it's obvious what it is, and I'll just walk through the property. But it's important because it gives people a feel for what your house looks like as they walk through. Another thing, the photos have to be in order of best quality that highlights your house the absolute best. Don't just follow the photographer goes through the house, because like I said, I've got one of the absolute best photographers that I utilize with all of my listings. I don't follow the way that she goes. And the reason she does what she does is it's based on time, right? She's not going to go from one side of the house to the other, to the other, to the other. That's where an experienced realtor can take those photos, put them on order of the absolute best top 5 photos have to be up front. Don't just do a front photo and then the foyer, you've got 4 or 5 photos of a foyer. It's just not going to make sense. And if it takes buyers 10 to 15 photos to get in before they see the good stuff, a lot of them, they're going to click out because they're not just looking at your property. They probably pulled up in their price range. They may have pulled up 35 to 50 properties just in their price range. And now they're having to go through that. And guess what? One photo they see first, that is your front image of the property. And it absolutely, whatever that looks like, it's got to be the best shot, because we have one chance to snag that buyer that is viewing your property online to get them to save it as a favorite, that this is one of the properties I want to see. I have buyers that when I first start working with them, I might send them 20 properties, and they go through those 20 properties. They may have 5 that they want to take a look at. And guess what? They do. Well, a lot of times they've rolled out some of the others that I have to circle them back to because I personally viewed those properties and I'm like, oh my gosh, these properties are incredible. The reason I have to circle them back is because they didn't like what they saw with that front photo and they just skipped to the next one. So it's critical that those photos, absolutely the top 5, look the best. So it may be you have a front shot of the house. It could be you potentially have a second shot of the house. Could be of the back that's maybe catching a swimming pool or something absolutely amazing about the house. But that third pick really needs to be the most impressive pick inside. So if that's the kitchen first, and then if it goes into the living room, and then you've got this incredible library and it goes into that, or the master bedroom or the master bathroom, whatever that looks like, these are the pictures that need to be up front. Now you probably hear my inflections in my voice and stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's really passionate about what he does. I'm very passionate about it. And the reason is because I know this is what it takes to sell properties. And I just don't want your property getting skipped over. Okay. And remember, you've already done the other 10 things that everyone does, that they should do anyway, that get your house ready. Like you freshen up the curb appeal, the front entrance looks good. You clean things up, you tidy things, you decluttered in the house. Ask for my list. I'll be happy to email it to you. The second thing you can do that is important, you can offer buyer incentives and flexibilities. Now, what do I mean by that? You want to make the showing absolutely as easy as possible, because when we're in any kind of a market, but especially a buyer's market, if it's difficult to show your property, well, it's not after 1 o'clock. I only want property shown between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock because 4 o'clock, I don't want to be bothered. All right, that's going to be a tough sell. And the reason is because a lot of buyers work, or a lot of buyers are looking at more than just one property. Now, this is what I really want you to hear. Some sellers think that they're just looking at my property, therefore I can really dictate what I want. You have to remember, majority of buyers, they've got multiple properties they're looking at, and they're going to roll those properties out. This is what surprises sellers, and I need you to hear me here. Buyers don't look at properties to rule them in. They look at properties to rule them out. They start online, right? So how do I know that? Well, what did they just do when I sent them 20 houses and we got 5 to look at? Well, they ruled them out. So if you have that mindset, then you go, oh my gosh, what can they see walking through my house that they may end up ruling my house out? Or what photos might they see that they may say, no, I'm not interested in looking at that house? Because first we have to capture them online most of the time before they even show up to the house. But then when they show up to the house, we need to make sure that the house is absolutely show ready and that you are flexible on showing time, especially if you're in a buyer's market. I can't tell you how many times I've sold other houses and I didn't have a chance to see this house, either because there was something that happened, either the time wasn't flexible enough for my buyers to be able to include that property, or something came up and they just decided, well, we've had a crazy day at work. We don't want the house to be shown tonight. We don't want to miss opportunities if we have qualified buyers wanting to look at your property. So make your property very available. I've sold other houses, but because when buyers came into town to look at properties, now this house wasn't available to see. And they're like, hey, can you see my house Monday? And it's a Friday and we're supposed to see houses Saturday. Well, my buyers have to leave Sunday. So I just want to help you. Don't think that there's a ton of buyers for your house and you can have the flexibility to do this. Now, I totally understand there's those unforeseen circumstances and it's going to happen, but hopefully it just doesn't happen very often when you have qualified buyers ready and willing and wanting to see your house. Next, incentives. All right. So there are things that you can do. You can offer a home warranty with your property, a 1-year home warranty. And basically you're out of the picture at closing is when the warranty is paid for. It can be $500. It could be $1,000. Older houses, buyers are like, oh my gosh, this is great. Because if the air conditioner goes out, well, I've got a warranty company I can call. They'll come and fix it, or they'll find out what's wrong and they'll try and fix it. Warranties, those are a great incentive. Another thing, you can offer to pay buyers closing costs. Well, if you offer to pay buyers closing costs up front, hey, this seller's offering closing costs. Well, if no one else is offering closing costs in the area that you're looking in, well, you've already got a leg up on, wow, okay, we need to look at this house a little closer. And why? Well, after they see several homes, when it comes time to make a decision, they already know that this question is a yes. So now you're that much closer to getting them to move on your house. And let me put it this way, because I know sellers are watching this right now and thinking, well, all they have to do is ask me, and I would pay closing costs too. A lot of times, if we're weighing out houses and let's say these 3 houses are very close together on what the buyer really likes about each one of them, and this one, they've already said they're going to pay closing costs. Well, guess which way they lean, because they think, oh my gosh, no one else is offering that up front without us asking. No one else is offering that. So we probably ought to jump on this house. And the reason is, if there is another buyer, even though it may be a buyer's market, if there is another buyer, well, these are incentives that make buyers move that direction on that property. So these incentives, like home warranty, is a great incentive to offer a buyer. Closing costs, that is a huge incentive that you can offer a buyer, because even if buyers have their money to pay for their closing costs, well, they can still take you up on that, whereas we have room to negotiate on our price a little bit if they don't need your closing costs. So if you're a seller, can you see how that can be an incentive to help you sell your house? Other incentives could be, hey, with the right offer, we'll replace our roof. With the right offer, we'll put in a new privacy fence. There's several different incentives that you can offer buyers that agents can put it in the listing agreement. So now buyers are like, whoa, wait a second. They're drawn to this because you're one of the few that are offering these incentives. So don't overlook incentives. Maybe have a conversation with your realtor on which incentive might work the best for you. if your house is in a buyer's market. Now, notice I said if your house is in a buyer's market. Make sure where your house is located and your price point that you indeed are in a buyer's market before you do something like this, unless you just want to sell even faster. The number one thing, price. Don't price yourself outside of the market. If you price yourself outside of the market, you're going to make all your neighbors' houses that are for sale look better than your house. So in a slow market, setting the right price is absolutely crucial so your home doesn't become a stagnant listing. The longer a home sits on the market, well, you can just see those dollars coming down. Most buyers, if they see a house on the market for a few weeks, that has not been on the market very long. A month and a half, not super long. Month 3, they start questioning, why hasn't this house sold? Month 4, what's wrong with this house? So what your top real estate agent wants to look at is we're going to look at not only how long houses have been on the market. So we're not just going to pull active, pendings, and closed property. We want to see how long that's been on the market, what that sales price adjustment looked like from start to the time they sold. When you hire your real estate agent, what you need to make sure that not only are they pulling actives, pendings, and closed, they need to also pull expireds. Because when they pull expireds, they're going to see, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so your neighborhood, there were 10 houses that were listed in the past 6 months. 3 of those sold, 4 of those expired, and then we've got a few pending. That right there is going to give us a better image of what's going on. Because a lot of times as a seller, if you're not neck deep in real estate every single day, you may be under the impression, well, real estate's still really good, right? So again, that's where your agent's going to determine based on your house's location and price and condition on how you need to price your house. Don't help sell your neighbors' houses because you're priced way outside of the market. You're in a buyer's market. Again, this is what we're talking about. Don't overprice your house for your market. If you overprice your house, we're not seeing people still looking and then just coming in low. What they're doing is they're like, wow, okay, they're so much higher when we've got other choices in a market that's not moving as quickly. And they're going to buy one of these others. So to wrap everything up, if you're selling in a buyer's market, absolutely get an agent that's going to hire professional photographers. Always remember, buyers are looking to rule houses out. The photos are dark. If they're not done properly, if they're crooked and all this other stuff, well, it's just, there's nothing that's going to help you there. And number 2, offer buyer incentives. It could be, we'll add a home warranty. We'll pay your closing costs. We'll leave the refrigerator and the washer and dryer. These are all incentives that make buyers take note of your property when yours is one of the few that have incentives. Showings, you have to be as flexible as possible to let people look at the property. And then last one, price your property aggressively. If you overprice it for the market that you're in, well, then your house most likely is going to set on the market, even if it's beautiful. I've seen absolutely beautiful houses set on the market because they're 20,000 higher than they should have been. Guys, listen, I know this was a little long-winded. If you're buying or selling and you're in the Tulsa area or any of our surrounding suburbs, don't hesitate. Reach out. Let's connect. I'd love to talk with you. Let's take a look at your property. Let me put the finger on the pulse of real estate for your specific area, and I know exactly what to do. And if you're buying a house, I can help you walk through these houses and know exactly what to look for to maybe avoid, or what to look for to maybe be like, okay, this looks good, right? And the numbers, I run all the numbers for my buyers as well, because it's so important that we're transparent on where that house is priced. We're going to know real quick what that looks like, and if it's something they want to move on. All right, if I can help you again, Rodney Dixon, your Tulsa Realtor, here for you. I've got your back if you're buying or selling in Oklahoma, and I will talk with you soon. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you like these kind of videos, well, check this one out too.